Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Today is September 13th, 2017. It's overcast right now. It's been cloudy most of the day. We're supposed to get some rain, but it hasn't happened yet. So that's okay. Anyway, so I wanted to talk to you about what lessons we have learned from Harvey and Irma, the two hurricanes that just recently hit the United States. Well, come on if you're coming. Atta girl. So what lessons have we learned from that? Well, look, first of all, we've learned there's a lot of good people out there. A lot of people that are going to take time to help rescue people, that using their own equipment and stuff like that to go out there and do the right thing. That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome that there's that many decent people out there. We've also learned that there are a lot of a-holes out there that are going to rob and steal and loot when people are not around, and that unfortunately is going to happen as well. So you have your good and you have your bad in that aspect. But what lessons, true lessons, have we learned from this? Hopefully, and sadly, I'm going to say this, sadly, most people, as soon as things go back to normal, they will have forgot everything that has happened and not even think about it and do nothing to change their situation for the next event, okay? When it comes to prepping, we do it for a reason, okay? We do it because we are preparing for whatever's coming. You are absolutely nuts. We do it because you never know what's going to happen. These type of events, even though they don't happen all the time, you never know when they're going to happen and when something is going to happen that's going to affect you directly. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that, you know, when these things happen and it affects you at that time period, it makes you think then. But a lot of times when things go back to normal, then you just dismiss it again. So a lot of people will just dismiss this again and not learn the lessons from this. So what lessons have we learned? When flooding happens, you have to deal with contamination of the water. If you are in the south especially, and even up here depending on the time of year, mosquitoes, and then you're talking sanitation issues. You know, where are you going to go to the toilet if your toilets are all overflowed, and you know, that's not really talked about a lot, okay? But where are you going to put your waste and everything is flooded? You know what I mean? So those are things to think about as well. The fact that a lot of people do not have backup generators, that a lot of people are not prepared for even a 3-day emergency, when if you go on the Red Cross, FEMA, or any of the other disaster websites, they will recommend a minimum of 2 weeks supply of food and water. So, but people don't heed those warnings and they continue to do the same stupid things that they always do, which is absolutely amazing to me. People are learning that they need to have some form of a backup lighting system, either, like I said, either be a generator or other ways to have light, like kerosene lanterns or flashlights and batteries and stuff like that. Just basic, simple things that you should have normally anyway. I mean, these are lessons that I think a lot of people just don't get. Let's talk about the lesson of getting out of Dodge. When is the right time to get out of Dodge? You know, you had in Florida, and you know, they showed how long it took to get from one part of Florida to another part of Florida. It was insane, and that the roads were all absolutely jammed up. So do you now? And here's the thing: is with a state like Florida, it's basically one way in, one way out. I mean, there are some alternative roads that you could probably take, but most people are going to jump on that main highway, and then they're in gridlock. Okay, so the lesson learned there would be no alternative routes to get out of wherever you are. I talked to my sister about that. Of course, the easiest way to get to my place is taking the main road, you know, taking a highway. But I told her, I said, you need to have at least 3 different alternate routes and ways to get here. And so that's what she's been doing when she comes up. She's been taking different routes so that she knows an alternative way to get here, so that she's not going to get stuck in gridlock traffic. I mean, anybody that's been in just a regular rush hour situation knows how bad it can be. I mean, I know in Rochester, New York, rush hour absolutely sucks. I mean, I always hated driving in rush hour, and I would try to make sure I avoided driving in that time period if I can. Now, think about a mass exodus like that just happened in Florida, and everybody's getting out, and so, or most of the people, I should say. So these are things you guys got to really think about when it comes down to your preparedness. And these are for my subscribers and followers down there in Florida. Look at your situation, take from what you've learned from that situation and apply it to, okay, how can I be more prepared next time? Food, water, long-term food storage, okay? Those are really, really important things, okay? Alternative means of lighting, either flashlights, lanterns, whatever you want to go, whatever route you want to go as far as having some form of light, that's what you need to do. In Florida, I can't believe more people don't have solar in Florida, to be honest with you, with all the sunshine. They call it the Sunshine State for a reason. You may get rain every day, but you guys get so much more sun than we do up here, it's ridiculous. So, I mean, those are things also that you need to think about, okay? It's just, we need to take these lessons from what happened, with the storm surge coming in and flooding everything out, and now everything's damaged. Maybe we should build up a little bit higher, more solid structures that can withstand. If you live in Florida and you may face 130 to 160 mile an hour winds when that storm comes through, when that hurricane comes through, wouldn't you build accordingly? That's just my opinion. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. It would make more sense. I live in the Northeast, okay? So what we try to do up here is we prepare for winter, because winter's coming. Winter is relentless. Winter don't care, okay? So, making sure we have enough wood so that we can stay warm. The last thing I would want to do is run out of wood in February. That would absolutely suck, okay? But, having enough wood on hand to be able to stay warm is really important. So those are things that we prepare for ahead of time. You have to look at what your situation is, guys. You have to look at where you live. You live on a river. You live, in any river, and it doesn't have to just necessarily just be the Mississippi River, but I'm just using that as an example. It's like if you live near water, there's the chances that you're going to have flooding. If you live in a valley, the chances are you're going to have flooding. So if you choose to live in those type of places, you need to prepare accordingly. That just it's common sense, okay? So that's what I'm talking about as far as that goes. I did want to say that when Tom got here yesterday, that's my son's tutor, we had him we gave him a plate of the legacy food that we reviewed yesterday, and he was like, oh my God, this is so good. And when I told him, yeah, it's freeze-dried, and then I took some to work with me last night, and I had a couple of my CNAs try it, and they were both like, oh my God, that's really, really good. And I told them again, yeah, it's freeze-dried food, and they're like, oh my God, no way. Like I said, so having enough food, having enough water, and here's a lesson. Let's talk about this lesson that hopefully some people learned. So people are out before the storm, before the hurricane even got there, fighting over bottled water. Fighting over bottled water. Well, wait a minute, were your taps still working in your house at that point? Do you not have containers at your house that you could fill up with water? Could you not fill up your bathtub ahead of time just to make sure you had water? It's just, get some 5-gallon buckets and fill them up ahead of time. The water jugs, the big 5-gallon water jugs. Again, that all comes down to being prepared. It all comes down to common sense and thinking about things before things happen. The number of people that waited to the last minute to do anything, it always amazes me. I was talking to somebody, and they were saying that in the stores, all the water was gone, bread and milk. Now, first of all, why would you stock up on milk if you're going to be without power for a week or 2 weeks? Your power's out. You're looking at, if you don't open your refrigerator, a couple days before you're looking at food store or spoilage. So milk doesn't even make sense to me as far as that part goes. But you know, people will wipe those things out. And so, you know, being prepared ahead of time and being ready ahead of time means you don't have to panic like the rest of the sheeple. Realistically, that's what it comes down to, okay? I said to somebody the other day, I was talking to somebody at work, and I said, here's the thing. I said, if a disaster was headed our way up here, I said, I don't have to do anything. I am ready, you know. Maybe if it was like, you know, a huge storm of some sort, I might have to get some plywood to put over the solar panels to protect them. That's pretty much it, okay? But, you know, those are things that people don't think about, okay? So, but it's like, if you are prepared for whatever, and that's the whole premise of prepping, you prepare for the worst and you hope for the best. But when that day comes, that Hurricane Harvey, that Hurricane Irma comes through and wreaks devastation on the area that you live in, or if it's a major earthquake that happens and it wreaks devastation in the area which you're living, or if a supervolcano goes off and changes the entire world as we know it, okay? Those are things that you try to get ready for. Those are the things that you are preparing for. And then if it is a worst case, SHTF, end of the world as we know it, situation, you know, that's what we get ready for, you know. There's no one reason where, okay, well, I'm getting ready just for this. I mean, like if you watch Doomsday Preppers, well, I'm getting ready for this, and I'm getting ready for that. I think what they do on that channel is they try to make preppers look bad. I really truly do. And they try to make preppers look like they're idiots. And you can't, you know, and then of course they dismiss at the end of those shows, well, the probable chances of this happening are this percent and da-da-da-da-da. Well, you know what? We don't prep for one event. We prep for whatever. And so if you are in that situation, and here's the thing is, if you have children, and you are not prepared to take care of your children, then I say shame on you. And I have no pity or mercy for you. Because if you want to go to the Bible for it, it says God helps those that help themselves. So if you're not preparing yourself for whatever is coming, disaster-wise or end of the world or whatever it may be, that's your own fault. That is absolutely 100% your own fault. And you have nobody to blame but yourself. Okay, so those are the things I wanted to talk about. So I wanted to take you real quick here. Now today, we had a very cloudy day, and I'm going to show you this up here real quick. Now you can see some darker clouds there, so kind of overcast. But it's, with the sun being different now in the sky, I'm going to show you guys this. Turn this on real quick. Okay. So far today, we've brought in 2 kilowatt hours on this one. We've brought in 1.7 kilowatt hours on this one. Okay, and we're still bringing in power on both right now. So we're at 3.7 kilowatt hours on the day. But now it's starting to change who's bringing in more power because of the time of the year it is and the angle of the panels. Okay, so should I have adjustable panels? Yeah, I should. I don't right now, and I can't right now, because again, that comes down to finances. But these guys now are bringing in more power this time of the year than the other panels over here, okay? It's just a matter of, I will get those things better, hopefully get a solar tracking system up down the road. I'm going to add more panels before I do any of that. We will increase our production. Things will come together as far as that goes too. But anyway, guys, let me jump off of here. Thank you for listening. Please, I want to hear your input on this video. Okay, I want to hear what your thoughts are. I want to hear from the people that were down there in Florida and what you have learned, what lessons you've learned from this event. I want to hear from the people in Dallas, or not Dallas, I mean, sorry, Houston, down in Texas, that this affected directly as well. And I want to hear what you guys have learned from this event. I want you to share that, because people really, truly do need to know what they're facing and what could happen, okay? So anyway, remember, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every day, tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen. And remember, guys, STD is so important. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, one day at a time. Keep working towards your goals. Don't let anybody stop you. Stay away from the negativity, because they want to bring you down to their level. Unhappy people want you to be unhappy as well. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to jump off of here, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.